think obviously there were some Filipinos out there, and a lady actually at the net, she was like, we love you, Alex, you can do this, you can win, and then they were like, we also love you, Eva. I was like, oh, this is cute.
What a moment to be an Eala fan. After capturing her first ever main draw at Wimbledon, Alex Eala is flying high. But the grass court season loves a dramatic storyline, and the tennis gods have served up an absolute blockbuster for the second round. It is officially rematch time. Alex is about to step back onto the court against Maya Joint, the Australian who narrowly edged her out that heart-wrenching Eastbourne.
Wimbledon is known for its champions, traditions, and unforgettable moments. But this time, a young Filipina player became one of the biggest stories of the tournament. Suddenly, cameras were focused on more than just the matches. Philippine flags filled the crowd. Fans grew louder, and commentators couldn't stop talking about her rise. So, how did Alex Eala become one of Wimbledon's biggest attractions before winning a trophy? And why did the tennis world take notice?
That even if they don't love me per se, we have a shared love for our culture and for our nation, and I think that's really beautiful.
Now we know how passionate the Filipino fans are when it comes to sport. What's it like having that sort of support behind you at your matches and when you're playing?
It's so surreal to think that, that all of these people are so invested in my journey. I'm so thankful because I really do work hard and I do my best to represent my country and the best of my country.
The funny part about Wimbledon this year was that one of the biggest stories had little to do with the tournament favorite. While the world's #1 player was busy answering questions about pressure and expectations, another player arrived carrying something much bigger than ranking points. Alex Eala stepped onto the stage with the support of an entire nation, quickly becoming one of the most talked about names at the tournament.
Eala is in there as well. We got to talk about Alex Eala because anytime we mention Alex, big boom on our viewing figures, Greg. So we're going to have to say how brilliant she did today. But Iga, what are your thoughts? I mean, that was quite an emotional reaction at the end.
Well, it was. And it's interesting. She won Wimbledon with Wim Fissette. And then all of a sudden she felt she needed to reset, especially before the clay court season. She hired Francisco Roig, the coach of Rafael Nadal. She spent time with Rafa at the academy with Francisco to get ready for the clay court season. It didn't happen.
Alex Eala stepped onto the grass, carrying the support of an entire nation. Every match, every shot, and every moment drew attention from fans eager to see her succeed. Even before her first match began, the excitement around her was impossible to ignore, creating an atmosphere unlike anything Wimbledon had expected.
So what a great day at Wimbledon yesterday. We got home past 12, but it was phenomenal as Alex Eala had a great win in court 12. Filipinos were all there. Amazing support she got. Everyone was happy. They lined up for hours, but they got in. So mabuhay. Alex was so thankful. She played a great game. Really showed her mastery, I would say, of the grass. Very comfortable, moving.
It was not just because she had become a talented young player. It was because she had become a symbol of progress for tennis in the Philippines. For years, fans had waited for a player capable of making an impact on the sport's biggest stage. And Alex Eala was finally giving them that reason to believe.
Eala advances to the second round of the Wimbledon Championships after defeating Renata Zarazua of Mexico 6-1, 6-2 early Wednesday, July 1, Manila time. The victory marks Eala's first win in the grass court Grand Slam tournament after exiting in the first round of her main draw debut last year. Seeded number 29 for the first time, Eala survived a few lengthy exchanges and won 5 straight games to close out the opening set, scoring.
That difference was clear even before the tournament began. One press conference featured the world #1, already established as the leading force in women's tennis. The other featured a 20-year-old Filipina making history by becoming a seeded player at Wimbledon. On paper, the bigger spotlight should have belonged to the top-ranked star. Instead, Alex Eala attracted massive online attention and generated discussions far beyond the tennis world. It was proof that in modern sports, popularity is not always driven by rankings. It is often driven by a compelling story, and few stories were gaining momentum faster than Eala's. For new fans, her rise may have seemed sudden, but those who had followed her journey knew it was the result of years of hard work and steady progress. They had watched her succeed as a junior, earn important victories on the professional tour, and gradually establish herself as one of the most promising talents in Philippine tennis. By the time Wimbledon arrived, her results had already started speaking for themselves. Just days before reaching London, Eala added another major achievement by winning the biggest grass court title of her career in Birmingham. Grass is one of the toughest surfaces to master, demanding quick reactions, precise movement, and complete confidence. Many players spend years adapting to it, but Eala handled the challenge with remarkable composure, overcoming tough opponents and capturing the title in impressive fashion.
It's the classic sequel we've all been waiting for, but let me tell you, sigurado ako, the dynamics have completely shifted since they last crossed paths. This isn't the same matchup it was 12 months ago. Since that afternoon in Eastbourne, the fortunes of those two rising stars have gone in completely opposite directions. Alex has sustained her incredibly steady, mature progress up the rankings. She isn't just knocking on the door anymore.
Rather than treating her success as a surprise, Alex Eala carried herself with the confidence of someone who believed she belonged at the highest level. That belief became one of the biggest reasons behind her strong season. Before winning in Birmingham, she had already made a statement at the Berlin Open, where she defeated former Wimbledon champion Elena Rybakina and reached the semi-finals before falling to Linda Noskova. Those performances proved she could compete with the best players on grass and changed how the tennis world viewed her potential. The momentum continued as Ella became the first Filipino player to enter a Grand Slam as a seeded competitor, a historic achievement for both her and her country. For years, the Philippines had passionate tennis fans, but no player had reached this level. Now, with every practice session and every match at Wimbledon, Ella was adding a new chapter to Philippine sporting history.
Hey guys, Alex Eala is safely onto the second round of Wimbledon for the first time in her career, defeating Renata Zarazua 6-1, 6-2. So let's talk about it. But first, let's hydrate. That was an impressive scoreline for Alex Eala, 6-1, 6-2 against Renata Zarazua. From the stats, she won 82% of her first serves in, and her winners to unforced errors ratio was fantastic. She had 22 winners and 14 unforced errors, which gives her a +8, a positive ratio during the whole match.
Meanwhile, the tournament favorite, Aryna Sabalenka, was facing a very different build-up. As the world's top-ranked player, much of the attention around her focused on handling pressure and overcoming recent challenges, rather than on-court results alone. The contrast was striking. While Sabalenka discussed the difficulties of staying at the top, Alex Eala spoke about opportunity, making history, and the support she was receiving from fans back home. Earlier in the season, Eala had already attracted strong interest during the Australian Open, despite not having the profile of an established Grand Slam champion. Tennis fans wanted to know more about her rapid rise, and support from Filipinos around the world only added to the excitement. By the time she arrived at major tournaments, the growing crowds and attention around her matches made it clear that her popularity was becoming one of the sport's most remarkable stories.
Tomorrow at Wimbledon, it's not just an ordinary match, it's a chance for redemption, and perhaps one of the biggest grass court tests yet for Filipina tennis star Alex Eala. But standing across the net is Australia's Maya Joint. 1 year ago, Alex Eala and Maya Joint delivered one of the best matches of the 2025 grass court season. They clashed in the Eastbourne Open final, where Eala became the first Filipina to reach a WTA Tour Championship.
Wherever Alex Eala played, the crowds continued to grow. Walkways became packed, long lines formed around the courts, and many fans struggled to find seats as interest quickly exceeded expectations. Even experienced broadcasters noted how unusual it was to see that level of support for a player still establishing herself on the Grand Slam stage. Tournament organizers eventually acknowledged that some of her matches had been placed on courts too small for the demand. As her success continued, so did the excitement surrounding her story. For millions of Filipinos around the world, Eala had become more than a rising tennis player. She had become a source of pride and inspiration. That is why the support around her felt different. Fans were not only celebrating her victories, they were celebrating the chance to see someone from their country succeed on one of the biggest stages in sports.
And for Alex Eala, that's a good thing, because Eala has some good drop shots. She has some good feel, right? And you could see from, the stats here, the unforced errors, where is it coming from? Well, it's coming from Joint's forehand here. And Maya Joint's forehand is interesting to me, right? So watching the Serena match again. So You know, a lot of her forehands are hit in a closed stance or neutral stance position.
Every match gave Filipino fans a chance to show their support, waving flags and proudly backing a player who was proving she belonged on tennis's biggest stage. As Wimbledon got underway, many analysts believed this could be the tournament that introduced Alex Eala to a much wider audience. The draw created several exciting possibilities, including a potential meeting with tennis legend Serena Williams if both players advanced. With Serena's return already attracting major attention, Eala suddenly found herself sharing headlines with one of the sport's most iconic figures. Meanwhile, the spotlight remained on world number 1, Aryna Sabalenka, whose power and consistency continued to make her the player everyone wanted to beat. But while Sabalenka was focused on adding another major title to her collection, Eala was pursuing something equally significant: the chance to inspire a nation and further expand her growing impact on the sport.
Really confident. As she said, she played really well in the big points, in the moments where it mattered. There were several games where she had like 7 break points against her, or even 8 break points, but she stood her ground. And Coach Joanne was right there on the side, constantly giving her the push. Of course, her parents too. Alex herself is super motivated. So fantastic. Alex is first Filipina to make it to the second round of Wimbledon, and she's going to face...
Alex Eala was becoming more than a rising tennis star. She was helping introduce women's tennis to millions of new fans, especially in a country that had rarely seen itself represented at the sport's highest level. That influence did not go unnoticed. Commentators, former players, and analysts who had followed tennis for years recognized that her rise felt different from most young prospects. Talented players emerge every season, but few carry the support of an entire nation with them. Even fewer generate such excitement before winning a Grand Slam title. Her growing popularity also reflected a broader change within the sport. For decades, tennis has been largely centered around traditional powerhouse nations in Europe and North America. The Philippines, despite its strong sporting culture and passionate fan base, had rarely been part of that conversation. Through Eala's success, that was finally beginning to change.
After a thrilling 3-set battle, Joint escaped with a 4-6, 6-1, 7-6 victory, saving 4 championship points to lift the title. Now, these two young stars meet again, this time not for a WTA trophy, but for a place in the 3rd round of Wimbledon. Joint has described their first meeting as an epic match, while Eala says she's excited for another opportunity, this time to improve on the mistakes that cost her the title.
Everything began to change. Filipino communities across the world, from Britain and Australia to North America and beyond, rallied behind Alex Eala as her journey gained momentum. She represented more than personal success. She became a source of national pride. The support surrounding her created an energy that could not be ignored. It also showed how much modern sports have evolved in the digital era. Every highlight, interview, and training update could reach fans around the world within minutes, allowing supporters to follow her progress no matter where they lived. Social media helped bring those fans together, turning each victory into a shared celebration. Her season was not without challenges, however. She experienced early exits at several tournaments, including the Australian Open, Roland Garros, and Bad Homburg. But rather than making excuses or focusing on setbacks, Eala continued moving forward, using each experience as motivation to improve and prepare for the opportunities ahead.
You were checking out Alex Eala's net points attempts, and percentages in my post-match analysis. So you can see Joint right here, 5 for 11. She doesn't like going up to the net. And when she goes up to the net, it's really bad. It's horrible, right? So I believe the drop shot is in play for Alex Eala, right? All she needs to do is drop shot here and there, and I think she could win a lot of these points. Also, the chips, you know, the backhand chips, forehand chips, they go to...
Eala carried the momentum into the second set, breaking early before consolidating the break for a 2-0 lead. Zarazua responded with a hold, but Eala remained in control. Eala then reeled off 3 straight games for a commanding 5-1 advantage in the second set. Although Zarazua held to love to halt the run, the Filipino tennis ace served out for the match. Eala advances to the next round, where she will face Amaya Joint. Eala is also set to compete in the doubles tournament with Nicola Bartunkova against Yelena Ostapenko and Sofia Kenin.
Eala took a different path. Instead of dwelling on disappointment, she accepted the challenges, learned from them, and focused on the next opportunity. That mindset paid off quickly. Just days after a difficult result in Bad Homburg, she arrived in Birmingham with renewed confidence and immediately found her best form again. The victories returned, and what could have been a setback became valuable preparation for Wimbledon. While fans hoped for a deep run in the tournament, her impact was already reaching beyond results. Packed practice courts, growing crowds, and Philippine flags throughout the stands showed how much interest she was generating. With every appearance, Eala was helping bring new audiences to tennis and expanding the sport's reach. Whether or not she eventually won a Grand Slam title, she had already made a remarkable impact at a very early stage of her career.